Hello agents, the summit has been out now for a few weeks and we already have a great update coming for it at the end of October in TU 11.1. I've been meaning to do this video now for a week or so I am sorry for the delay, and most of the tips and tricks discussed in this video will still work when TU 11.1 drops, and I'll discuss it if they don't as we go through it. The tips and tricks that I give you in this video are being shared because they will make the summit easier for you. No matter what build you are using, I'll discuss our strategy and still have videos planned to show you the best way to solo, duo, 3-man or 4-man the summit, and they'll be released soon I hope. Please make sure you hit like on this video to support it and hit subscribe if you want to watch future content from me. In no particular order, at number 10 is to team synergize. If you play solo, then this doesn't really concern you, but in a team, make sure your builds are working for each other and that you're not just running in there as individuals. The upper floors get really tough and well synergized teams will find things very easy. I always run in a 4 and we use 3 DPS builds and 1 tank. My build is Glass Cannon, which is a full-on damage build. Penny will run a DPS build with a tardigrade chest and survivalist specialization. Mark runs a true patriot tank build with a firewall specialization, and the 4th person in will normally run an unbreakable build as we are helping out. But if we get Steph in or someone that knows the score, they'll run Glass Cannon as well, and it couldn't be any easier really. The more damage the better, but a tank is definitely needed. There are many different opinions on what builds work on the summit, and in a 3 or a 4, DPS with a tank works a treat for us and we get through it super quick while doing it. But there are many different ways of doing this and you should definitely stick with what you're comfortable with if you are completing it. At number 9, I need to discuss generic loot boxes, and a huge shout out to Strudel for informing me about this one in one of his latest videos. As you climb up through the summit, there are areas that you can search and find weapon and gear crates. If you are lower down the summit though, you should leave these until you reach the legendary floors. The summit features floors that auto-generate, but they generate over what you have already done, so it seems. Because if you open crates lower down, then as you get higher, you'll notice that some crates have already been opened as you find them. These refresh every day as they do in the open world, so I suggest that you only open them on the heroic or legendary floors, whichever you aim to get to on that day. At number 8, I'm going to advise you to always work as a team and communicate. Towards the end of the summit, this will be key, and you should always let your tank lead you into rooms and corridors as a unit. At the end of the room, all players should be allowed time to pick up loot, but more importantly, ammo and medkits. Directives on the upper levels can be rough, and if you get ammo hoarders and no armor regen, then picking up the drops from enemies will be key. At 7, we're going to discuss how waves work. On the lower floors, this doesn't really matter so much, but when you get to those last 20, you really don't want to misjudge a spawn where your team could get wiped. Every floor at this stage will throw at least a few waves at you, and it can be tough to guess when these will end. But we noticed 99.9% of the time, the next wave would always spawn when the last enemy was standing, and more often than not, another wave would not spawn if 2 or 3 enemies were still standing. So for your peace of mind, if there is only 1 enemy left in the area, then you can be pretty certain once he is dead, you'll be moving on. Just watch for fog of war though, as enemies may still be hiding. And this also leads us nicely on to tip number 6, which is easy objectives. No matter what objective you get, you can make it easier by understanding how the waves work. As discussed a few moments ago, if there are 3 enemies left standing, then no other waves will spawn. Sometimes it does the same with having 2 enemies standing, but that can be hit or miss. On floors with objectives, use this to your advantage, especially later on with the legendary floors. You are able to clear the area down to just 3 enemies and then complete the objective while not having so much aggro. This works great with the laptop objectives when they come up and the pulse jammers. You can also do the same with the capture the SHD box, but if enemies spawn on top of you as you kill all the enemies after you capture it, just back up and clear the waves. Again, thanks to Strudel for the next tip, eventually waves will stop spawning on the SHD box and jammer pulse objectives, so you can in theory just clear all the waves before completing them. At number 5 is to collect your exotic parts. Right now, 1 exotic part is hidden in the special chests on each of the varied difficulty floors. These chests can be found on floor 3, 6 and 9, and then so on for every set of 10 floors. And then the key to open them will always be found on the same floor as them or the floor before. You'll normally hear a sound when you are close to the summit access key, and these chests do not guarantee the exotic part to drop, but you will need all 5 pieces before completing the summit if you want to get the Ridge Race Pride project. Each part is linked to a difficulty right now, so if you get the normal part, you'll need to farm another difficulty next. They do not need to be collected in order either, and in TU 11.1 these parts will be allocated by floor instead of difficulty, with the normal piece being available from floor 1 to 20 and so on. At 4, I'm going to advise you to deal with the tanks as a priority. Just like in the legendary missions, these tanks can be a pain and you want to get them gone fast. With a lot of DPS, we never have an issue as long as we spot them early, but we also have Penny with a crossbow to crack the chest armor quick if they start to get close. Never let them get too close and always back up if needed and pull them to you as they will push for a bit. My number 3 top tip is only available right now because in TU 11.1 you can choose if you want to play with directives or not, and which ones as well. But for now you are forced to have them on, and there's a trick to get what you want. The directives will always change on a checkpoint floor. We hate cool skills, so if ever it gives us that, we'll all wipe and restart from the checkpoint that we just reached. We will keep doing it until it drops cool skills, and it saves us from doing 3 floors at legendary with cool skills. The trick also works when you reach floor 100. You can in theory complete the whole summit without having your least favourite directive set at any time. And my number 2 top tip is to have an emergency plan. There's nothing worse than getting to a checkpoint floor on legendary and having to back up 3 floors because you wipe. If it looks like it is going pear-shaped, as long as one person can back up, they can back up a few floors to get away from the enemy and force them to reset back into position. This allows you to start it again, so to speak, in that area, providing the person that backed up can get back without being spotted and get some revives in. It does take a few minutes for enemies to reset and some will chase, but the dead people in the area will be able to call it out when enemies are returning, so you know when they are on retreat. And my final tip is how to complete floor 100. The first part, you just want to open the door and fight from the room that you come in at. The tank should tank and take aggro if enemies get close to the door, and the DPS players should clear the enemies through the open door. When people go down, have the tank get them up so all DPS can still be available if anything does push through the door. Once clear, you'll move on to the hunters. For this part, you'll stay in the room again, but we'll drop the tank for another DPS build. 3 DPS builds should then run shock traps, so one is down at the door at all times, and then one person should run the riot foam to stick the hunters as they run in. There's not a lot of cover here, but make do with what you can and shoot the hunters through the door to drain their heals. You'll just want one person pushed up on the left side desk to stop multiple hunters from pushing you at once. When a hunter does push, try to keep that position on the left desk, riot foam the hunter so he is stuck and he is also shocked in the center of the room, and just kill him. Once 4 hunters are dead, we normally push the final one to go and finish the summit. And that is the end of the video. If you have enjoyed it, then be sure to hit like. Make sure you hit subscribe if you want to see more, and don't forget to check out the video description to find links to our community and more. I put a full guide to completing floor 100 in there, along with the builds that we used on our first ever summit completion. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and until the next one, peace out.
Oh, here he comes.
Sorry, I'm back. Hold on.
No healing for you.
Okay, 3 left.
Oh, that's somebody just killed me skills. No.
Yeah, I'll pull back a little bit now and I'll let them rush. There's only 3. They shouldn't all rush together. The only risk of failure here is like they all rush through the door at once.
Oh.
Shock trap is outside the door. No, it's not. It's inside the room.
There he is. We're 2 level.
No,
down.
you.
Another one runs right in.
Another one.
And then 1 left. They pull away from there. So they push. Oh, it's the last one. We can go out for this one, can't we?
Yeah.
I only went there because to make it try to make him come forward a bit.
He's right behind you, G.
I know, I'm trying to get to a safe position. Oh, there we go. Where'd he go?
On the stairs.
Right
Oh,
at the
it's
bottom of the
still
stairs.
Oh.
He's at the bottom of our stairs.
Yeah. He'll heal, but keep shooting.
Flashbang on him. He healed himself though.
Oh, he swapped
got
places!
covered in here.
He's now trying to get us in there! Before you were dead then, bro. Nice work, guys.
As he jumps.